Hello, children. How are you? Doing okay? I'm going to tell you a story that many of you may have some information about. But no one really knows how that story really happened. And today, I'm going to clarify once and for all of the children, Randy, here in this Youngstown area, how it really happened. And Jenny, I'm going to ask you to help me on occasions. I'll go like this, and if you have the answer, you give it to me. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, many years ago, when I was sheriff, I had a call at my house on December the 24th, the night before Christmas. The caller was from Lieutenant Chance. He was the commander of the sting unit of the sheriff department. Now, Lieutenant Chance told me that he had a call from Deputy Casey. And on the east side of Youngstown, there were some strange happenings. They were so strange that when I got the call, I felt it very important to meet with Lieutenant Chance and Deputy Casey. From there, we proceeded to the house in question off of Jacobs Road. That's right, Brandy. And when we got there, the people were quite alarmed. They heard strange noises. So Lieutenant Chance set up a special program, and we entered the house, and we positioned ourselves. And that's where the story begins to be quite famous. Because you see, it was the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mom in her kerchief and Dad in his cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there arose such a clutter that Dad sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. And away to the window he flew like a flash. He tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster to all the midday objects below, when what to his wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh
And 8 tiny reindeer.
and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, he seemed to know in a moment that it must be
St. Nick.
St. Nick, and we've heard of St. Nick, haven't we? Now Lieutenant Chance and Deputy Casey, they're looking at me, and we didn't know what to expect. We had heard all this talk about Santa Claus, but suddenly it was starting to unfurl. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. He whistled and he shouted, and he started calling them by name. And he shouted, "Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall." He hollered,
Dash away, dash away, dash away all.
"Dash away all," to the mighty reindeer pulling his sleigh. I couldn't believe my eyes. Dad was so frightened beforehand, but now it seemed we had something under control, and maybe the first policeman in this area to see St. Nick. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, they sort of like mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys.
And St. Nicholas too.
And he was right there with them. And then in a twinkling we heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. Amazed we sat and we listened. And suddenly we drew up our head, and turning around, and down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. And we were amazed as we continued to watch what he was doing. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples were how merry his dimples. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. There was a stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke had encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. And when he laughed, his belly was just rolling. And now Lieutenant Chance and Deputy Casey, they began to realize that maybe we weren't needed there. But we decided to stay and see exactly what happened. Now the police report says this: he was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and we laughed when we saw him, in spite of ourselves. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave us to know we had nothing to dread. He spoke not one word, but went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings. Then he turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose, he sort of gave us a nod, and up the chimney he rose. Went right back out. He sprang to his sleigh, and to his team, he gave a whistle. And they sort of knew what he meant. And away they all flew like the down of a thistle. As we sit and we watch this, we heard him exclaim as he flew out of sight. What did he say when he flew away, Jenny?
Happy Christmas all, and to all a good night.
He said, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. All the children in the house were watching. Mom and Dad were watching. Lieutenant Chance was putting away his papers. Deputy Casey made sure that no one got hurt. And I sit and I watched all that, and I'd heard so many talks about Santa Claus. I never realized that he's never in the house more than an instant, and he always comes down
the chimney.
The chimney